Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp, and today we're going to find out once and for all exactly what's inside this mysterious box. The mysterious markings on the box could be translated to suggest the contents are a 35th scale model of a Finnish BT-42 assault gun from Tamiya. But is that the case? After many seconds of research, I can confidently say yes, it probably is. The sprues in this kit, of which there are quite a few, which is why I'm making this video, are moulded in a nice olive green colour, which I suppose is fairly close to the base colour that a BT-42 might be painted in. This is, obviously, a Tamiya kit, so it is a little bit redundant of me to say that the plastic here is very neatly moulded and free of any obvious errors or defects. This kit is from around 2011, and I understand that's when they added new parts to a BT-7 kit from 2010, according to Scalemates. This kit should be all pretty new.
You realise that 2011 was 13 years ago, right?
Well, that's still relatively new. Even very old Tamiya kits are still very high quality, so me saying that it's good is kind of stating the obvious, but maybe some of you have never seen a Tamiya kit before. It's probably not likely, is it? I'm not an expert on BT-42s or anything, really, so I can't tell you how accurate any of the detailing here is, and I haven't built the kit so I can't talk about that either. But historically accurate or not, everything looks to have good detail here. There's a bunch of nice looking rivets and bolts and things like that. And being Tamiya, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect it to be a pretty reasonable representation of the real thing. It's not likely to be super detailed or anything like that. Rivet counters will remain flaccid, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, I think it's going to result in a very good model, with detail that most modelers will appreciate. The tracks in this kit are link-and length, which in my opinion is better than rubber band tracks. There's a fair few single links here, and that could be a bit fiddly, but again, I've not built the kit so who knows, it could be a walk in the park. Probably not quite that easy, but I guess we'll find out. Even if the tracks are tricky, the rest of the build doesn't look overly complicated. I don't think there's even going to be too much in the way of cleanup required, and it looks like everything should fit together with very little, if any, resistance. And that's pretty typical of Tamiya, really.
You always say that, Herbert?
Because it's true. I've no reason to lie, for free, mind you, on behalf of a corporation. The BT-42 was built on a BT-7 hull, so I would expect at least the hull parts to be exactly the same as the BT-7 kit from Tamiya. It is a bit of a shame that you don't get BT-7 turret bits with this, though extra turrets is really more of a wargaming kit thing. And while you could use this for wargaming, it's not a wargaming kit. That doesn't really matter, I did buy it to be a BT-42 because it's ridiculous looking, which is right up my alley, and very relatable. In addition to all of the opaque parts, there's a couple of clear bits, which I've left in the baggie just so they don't get scratched up or fingerprinty. You can see that they're clear, which is pretty much exactly what we want. There's also a piece of string to be used as a towing cable. I'm not really a big fan of string towing cables, personally, but it is a nice looking string, I suppose. I'm assuming these grey things are polycaps of sorts. Sure, I could look at the instructions and find out, but I'm keeping it as a surprise. Yeah, that's it. There's also the regular black polycaps, so if you're into that sort of thing, this kit should be very exciting for you. A bit less exciting for me personally is photo etch, though it does look pretty good, and none of it appears as though it's going to require any complicated bending, so maybe it won't be so bad. I suppose I'll find out soon enough. There's a sheet of decals, and these are obviously Finnish windmills, not evil mustache man's windmills, and they've got holes in various places to allow them to fit around bits of the tank. I guess that might add some trickiness to the decal application process, but Tamiya's decals are usually pretty good, so it's probably not going to be a problem. There's also a few bits of paper. This is background information. It gives you a bit of information about the background of the BT-42. Then we have a painting and marking guide. Obviously these are suggestions and you don't have to paint your model this way if you don't want, but it can be a helpful reference. And finally, the instructions. These are pretty much what you would expect from Tamiya. They seem well laid out and easy to understand and follow. There aren't too many steps in any one diagram, and things are labelled and so forth. You know, like any good set of instructions. I also rather appreciate that they're in booklet format. which is my preferred format. Anyway, that's what's in the box. It looks like a good kit, and it's obviously a kind of weird vehicle, which, as I said before, is right up my alley. It is a Tamiya kit, if you couldn't tell, so I think my expectation that it's going to be a fun, well-made kit that won't fight me are pretty reasonable, and I'm pretty keen to start building this, so I will be starting very soon, if I haven't already by the time this is uploaded. So if you'd like to watch me build this live, I will, as usual, be streaming it, both here on YouTube and over on Twitch. Check the schedule over on Twitch if you're keen. The actual build video will take a little bit longer to appear, but eventually there'll be a link for your convenience. Wonderful. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comments section below. I hear it's pretty good for comments. Subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of thing, share it with anybody you think might find it helpful, and if you really like what I do, consider supporting on Patreon or Ko-fi, links are in the description. Take care of yourselves, be excellent to each other, and thanks for watching. Farewell.